I was just saying to Wayne, you sign and then you play that day sort of thing. It doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, it was quite a strange set of circumstances, I guess. I'd actually signed a couple days previous to it, but because of clearance and certain medical things that you have to kind of get done, it went right to the wire. But yeah, it was a shame it wasn't a more successful day result-wise, but it was really nice to make my first appearance for the club.
And you've had a few pre-season. You've had a bit of, 3/4 of pre-season with them as well. What do you think they're expecting from you?
Well, ultimately, my job will be to be contributing in front of goal, whether that comes from assists or scoring them myself. It's the nature of the position. So first and foremost, I want to be doing the business, and that is the basics of my role. So I think it's going to be expected as a minimum that people work hard and play for the badge first, and that's everything that I'm wanting to do.
I mean, for you, Exeter to Newport is nothing compared to, I was looking at earlier in your career, you went to Belgium, you went to Italy, I think. You've been around, haven't you?
Yeah, it's crazy how it works sometimes. You never go with the intention of it happening like that. When I was younger, the opportunities for me for contracts were abroad. It's a long story as to how that came about, but so I ended up spending about 3 or 4 years in Europe in the early parts of my career. So I was quite late to Football League football, but it doesn't take anything away from how special it still means to me now. I'm as proud as ever to be playing at this level.
Mm. Does that mean you picked up the languages as well?
I picked up a little bit. I was lucky that in Belgium, English was almost the common language because they had so many international players in that country. So the common language is English, but Italian, as long ago as it was now, I had to pick up, and that was quite a tough school. There was not much. There wasn't much wiggle room for slow learning. So yeah, I had to really pick it up quick.
Wow, I don't know how your Welsh is.
I'll have to pick that up quick as well. Yeah.
What are you expecting from Newport then? I mean, obviously you know about them from playing against them, with Exeter or whatever, but disappointment of the playoff final last season, heartbreak, frankly. Do you see any sense of a hangover, and what are you hoping for this season?
Absolutely no sense of hangover from coming in from an outsider's point of view. I can understand how that can feel, though, having experienced exactly the same thing 12 months previous with Exeter. So I understand the emotions involved, but no, absolutely not. I think the club are growing year on year, and I think that's the second playoffs that they've made, playoffs final, I believe they've made in the last 3 years, which shows that it's really going in the right direction. I'm very proud to be part of this squad that I hope will be able to achieve the same, if not maybe one better.
And they weren't prolific goal scorers last season, which is where you come in.
Yeah, well, yeah, any goal contribution for me, I'll be over the moon. Yeah, but it's I suppose if it was shared around, it does take the edge off maybe one or two individuals, and often that's the sign of good depth in squad.
So confident about the season then altogether?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like raring to go. I always find, as cliche as it sounds, the first sort of 5-8 games, anyone seems to beat each other. Form doesn't necessarily come into it too much. You're just still getting a feel for what squads have developed over the summer. But after sort of that time, you'll start seeing probably a pattern, and we hope to be, certainly, the top half, top 7 by the time that comes around.
Alex, we wish you the best. Thank you.
That's very kind. Thanks so much.
Alex, how hard is it being jobless, as it were, as a footballer and sort of on trial?
I guess, yeah, the older you get and the more responsibilities you have outside of football, it does make it more tense. I've always backed my ability and I've always backed myself. So when this is the first time in a long time that I've that I've really had to go through a summer where I've had this much uncertainty. I'd say the greater COVID situation and clubs looking for perhaps maybe smaller squads has made it a little bit more challenging to get yourself placed. But It's the nature of the game, and I think ultimately it comes down to how much you back yourself to deliver when you need to.
And I guess with experience, when you're a trialist, you know, it's not about trying to be all me, is it? Like when you're at Undy, you know, there's different parts to your game. It's not just trying to score a hat trick or whatever like that.
Yeah, I've always prided myself on playing for the team first. Obviously, strikers tend to be a bit more selfish than the next guy, but yeah, it's paramount for me is that the teammate has strong performances, wins games ultimately. I think you'd rather a sort of ugly 1-0 win than a 2-0 defeat, but you've played well sometimes. But yeah, it's it's going to be a really exciting time for me to be involved in a club that's really on the up.
I guess from your spell at Exeter, a lot of those appearances were sort of impact sub, or however you want to call it, coming on to try and make a difference. How much do you want to be a starter at County?
Yeah, well, you play football to play football. You don't just want to take part. You really want a bigger role. I was quite frustrated that I ended up featuring more as a periphery role. I think that kind of doesn't reflect how much I felt like I could bring to the team. But at the same time, it's a successful club that have always been up there, and results were pretty strong. So if that was my role, then I'd embrace it. And my ultimate goal is to be part of a successful side. But the selfish side of you, of course, you want to be playing as much as you can.
Where are you based? Have you had to relocate, or have you been able to?
No, I'm very fortunate actually. I live just across the river, just near Clevedon. So
Okay.
yeah, it's perfect.
Oh, good, brilliant. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Last couple, Rob or Tom, have you got any more? And then
I was just going to ask Alex. I mean, it's been quite a lengthy career now. 15 clubs. I mean, do we attach Journeyman to you, or how do we describe you?
Yeah, I'll let you guys use your creative juices to describe that one. I think it's never necessarily with the intention to have moved around as much as I have, but often the nature of the game doesn't allow for the perfect career. So it's certainly been a roller coaster and one that's not finished yet.
No, but it strikes me that you, as you said earlier on, have complete faith in your ability because you wouldn't have been picked up at all those places if you hadn't been able to convince people.
Yeah, I think I'd say that's a nice way of summarizing it. I'm very aware of what I think I can bring to a club, and I think it's quite a nice point that you make that I'm doing something right. Otherwise, I wouldn't.
Are you maybe someone who's looking for the opportunity to say, this is my home and I'm going to really make a mark somewhere? Could this be the place?
Absolutely. I've always gone with the intention of that, and for a number of reasons in other places, not necessarily worked out that way. And my intention is to give my all for the shirt, and I'd love to extend my time here for as long as possible. And the only way I can do that is by delivering on the field.
Because it's a fickle, brutal business, but you've stuck at it.
Yeah, you can say that again. But no, credit very much to Newport with how they've handled the interest over the summer and allowed me to come in and get involved with the team, because it shows that what the club's about, very welcoming. I know there's a strong family orientation here as well, which is really nice. Yeah. And it's a great community, and I thoroughly look forward to really jumping on board in all aspects.
And you got thrown in at the deep end in just a couple of days after signing. Hopefully you're looking forward to maybe playing a Premier League team next week.
Oh yeah, well that was great. Yeah, I watched the draw with quite a lot of anticipation, as I'm sure everyone else did, because I think Newport are getting a bit of a knack for delivering, for getting the big draws. So yeah, it'll be another great one over at Rodney Parade. Yeah,
it's predestined, I think, and Flinny loves it. Are you aware of the lineage that he's created here and the history that they've had?
Absolutely, yeah. I've watched a lot of them, and having played against the guys and with some of the guys, I've known Mickey Demetrio for 10, 15 years, James Clark for a very long time. And obviously you get to know the guys especially with the EFL trophy and Exeter and Yeovil, my last couple of clubs being so closely located, you often get against the same guys. So yeah, very aware of the legacy everyone has here, and very, very happy to be part of it.
It'd be nice to extend the record, wouldn't it? And have that celebration in front of all the fans next week. But no pressure, fella. No pressure.
Nice homecoming if that's the first home game of the season. Yeah,
Good to see you. Keep on reinventing yourself.